The year is 1274 BC. The Egyptian infantry squares watch in growing terror as the ground begins to shake. Over the ridge at Kadesh comes something that shouldn't exist. 2,500 Hittite war chariots thundering toward them in perfect formation. Each chariot carries a driver and an archer. Each team of horses has been bred for speed and trained for war. They cover ground faster than any human can run, strike harder than any cavalry charge, and disappear before infantry can react. This isn't just transportation, it's the ancient world's first mechanized warfare. For over a millennium, chariots dominated ancient battlefields from China to Britain. They were the tanks of the Bronze Age. Mobile, deadly, and so expensive that only empires could afford them. But how did 2 wheels and a horse become history's first weapon of mass destruction? Welcome to Engines of Conquest. Today we're rolling back the centuries to uncover warfare's original game changer. It begins around 2000 BC in the grasslands between the Black and Caspian Seas. Nomadic peoples have domesticated horses, but riding them is still primitive. No stirrups, no proper saddles, just rope and raw skill. Then some unknown genius makes a leap that will reshape human civilization. Instead of riding the horse, why not have it pull you? The first chariots are crude, solid wooden wheels, basic axles, platforms barely large enough for one person. But the concept is revolutionary. Suddenly, humans can move across battlefields at the speed of galloping horses while maintaining stability for weapons use. It's the ancient equivalent of mounting a machine gun on a motorcycle. The breakthrough comes with spoked wheels. Bronze Age engineers discover that removing wheel mass while maintaining strength creates vehicles that are both faster and more maneuverable. A skilled charioteer can execute turns that would throw a rider, maintain speed over rough terrain, and provide a stable platform for archery. By 1500 BC, chariot design reaches technological perfection. Egyptian and Mesopotamian workshops produce vehicles that are marvels of engineering. Lightweight wooden frames bound with leather, bronze-shod wheels with precisely calculated spoke tension, suspension systems that absorb battlefield shocks, and harnesses that maximize horsepower while protecting the animals. But chariots require more than engineering. They demand an entire military-industrial complex. Each chariot needs specially bred horses, trained crews, support personnel, spare parts, and tactical coordination. Only wealthy civilizations can afford chariot forces, making them symbols of power as much as weapons of war. The tactical advantages are overwhelming. Chariots can strike anywhere on the battlefield, concentrate force at decisive points, and withdraw before enemy infantry can respond. They turn warfare from static clashes into dynamic mobile campaigns where speed and coordination determine victory. May 1274 BC, the Battle of Kadesh, Syria. Pharaoh Ramesses II leads 20,000 Egyptian troops north to confront the Hittite Empire. It will be the largest chariot battle in recorded history, and it will demonstrate both the devastating power and critical weaknesses of mechanized Bronze Age warfare. The Hittites deploy 2,500 war chariots, the largest mechanized force ever assembled in the ancient world. Each carries a 3-man crew: driver, archer, and shield bearer. Their battle plan is sophisticated. Use superior numbers and mobility to envelope the Egyptian army before it can form defensive squares. The attack begins at dawn. Hittite chariots sweep around Egyptian flanks in perfect coordination, their bronze-tipped spears glinting in the morning sun. Egyptian infantry watch helplessly as enemy forces appear to multiply. Chariots striking, withdrawing, and striking again from new directions. For hours, Hittite chariots dominate the field. Their mobility allows them to concentrate overwhelming force at weak points while avoiding Egyptian strengths. Ramesses himself barely escapes capture when his personal guard is overrun by chariot-borne assault troops. But then the chariot's critical weakness reveals itself. In their eagerness to loot the Egyptian camp, Hittite crews dismount and scatter. Without mobility, they become vulnerable infantry. Egyptian reinforcements arrive and massacre hundreds of dismounted charioteers who can't reach their vehicles in time. The battle ends in stalemate, but it demonstrates chariot warfare's fundamental paradox. Devastating when properly used, catastrophically vulnerable when mishandled. Victory belongs not to those with the most chariots, but to those who use them most intelligently. The age of chariots lasted over 1,000 years, but it ended not through defeat in battle, but through technological obsolescence. Around 500 BC, improvements in cavalry equipment, better saddles, stirrups, and riding techniques made mounted warriors more effective than chariot crews. The ancient world's first mechanized warfare gave way to something simpler and cheaper. But chariots left an indelible mark on human civilization. They created the first military-industrial complexes, requiring specialized craftsmen, breeding programs, and logistical networks that transformed Bronze Age economies. Chariot-owning elites became the world's first warrior aristocracies, establishing social hierarchies that persisted for millennia. The tactical lessons proved timeless. Chariots established the fundamental principles of mechanized warfare: mobility, firepower, and the ability to concentrate force at decisive points. Every tank commander from Guderian to Patton applied lessons first learned by Bronze Age chariot drivers. Modern warfare still follows chariot-established patterns. Helicopter gunships use the same hit-and-run tactics perfected at Kadesh. Armored cavalry employs mobility and firepower concentration that Bronze Age generals would recognize. Even drone warfare applies principles first developed for chariot operations. Perhaps most importantly, chariots proved that technological superiority could determine the fate of civilizations. Societies that mastered chariot warfare conquered those that didn't. The Hyksos used chariots to dominate Egypt. The Aryans employed them to control India. Celtic charioteers terrorized Roman legions in Britain. In our age of rapid technological change, chariots remind us that military innovations don't just change tactics, they reshape entire societies. The question isn't whether new technologies will disrupt existing power structures, but how quickly societies can adapt to survive. 4,000 years ago, someone attached wheels to a platform and changed the world forever. The chariot wasn't just a weapon, it was humanity's first attempt to mechanize warfare, to multiply human power through technology and engineering. Every tank that has ever rolled across a battlefield, every aircraft that has ever dominated the skies follows principles first established by Bronze Age chariot builders. Today, as we develop autonomous weapons and robotic soldiers, as we debate the future of mechanized warfare, we might remember the lesson of the chariot. The societies that master new military technologies don't just win battles, they define the future, and those that fail to adapt, they become footnotes in the histories written by their conquerors. What weapon changed history the most?